So we both came up in the vape industry, and we would always sit there talking to our bosses like, yo, we need to work together. Let's do a collab. Let's do a sales trip. And then our bosses were like, why do you guys always want to work with this other company? And then it was like a year of that, and we both quit our jobs and started a business together.
Welcome back for the third time, Knox.
Oh, you thinking what I'm thinking?
Oh, that looks good.
Come on, man.
Can I get one?
Go ahead, sis.
I'm not sure why you wanna have sex with me.
Very Italian.
He died and then he went to the
It was like stump somewhere.
They
should listen.
Yeah,
play ball.
It could be yours. Just
Pretty fancy. Oh, wait, that's a mirror, isn't it? That mirror makes that room look really big.
That is a mirror. This was going to be my workout room.
And now you're fat and have a podcast instead?
Correct.
I feel that.
I think
we
that's
good?
how the recipe goes. I think it's train by day, podcast by night.
Yeah. I'm pretty much eat during the day, podcast sometimes.
Yeah. That's the Mako way.
Are we rolling or are we still testing? Are we just shooting shit? What's going on? Someone's on a time crunch here.
I started shooting here. We were sounding good I thought, so we're live right now, baby.
Let's go. We'll do a short one here, and then we'll probably come back to like a part 2 at some point, eh?
That's fantastic.
To be continued.
Welcome to the Sham Show.
Hey.
Today we have our good Indiana friends, Ian and Tyler.
Howdy.
What's shaking?
What up? How you folks
How are
been?
you guys? We've been wonderful. After watching all of Netflix, I've now been working a lot. So here we are.
Hey, bet. I know you guys have been doing the THCP and a bunch of other alt cannabinoid stuff. And quite frankly, those don't get discussed enough as far as I'm concerned. So you guys seem like a good couple dudes to chat with about what's going on with the alt cannabinoid stuff. And I'm about to tap into some THCO right now.
What are you hitting? You're hitting some THCO?
Yeah, it's like these Vance cigarettes that are supposed to be 50 milligrams THCO sprayed on. I haven't tried them before.
You probably won't notice much of a difference from just regular Delta 8 at all. It'll probably be exactly the same feeling as it would with Delta 8 because it's an acetate of Delta 8 and it's not naturally occurring. Yep. THCO specifically.
O's weird, man, since O is an acetate and the way it's like formula or structure in, the most bioavailable way for you to consume O based on the information that's out there would be ingesting it and taking it in through your liver. So if you had THCO in the form of a gummy or a tincture, it's going to be way more bioavailable and your body's going to be way more receptive. CB1 and CB2 receptors are gonna love you much more if you give your body O in an edible or ingestible form versus inhalables. But something like P or V, for instance, are way more bioavailable if you vape them or smoke them.
And they're going to be naturally occurring.
And yeah, P and V are also naturally occurring in a cannabis or a hemp plant.
THCV was discovered, what, Ian, in the 60s or something, it said?
40.
Oh, was it 40? I don't even know. Whatever.
V as in Victor?
THCP was like just discovered in 2019, supposedly, so.
Wow.
Interesting. That's weird. I had some THCO gummies. I'll have to revisit them. I don't know. Maybe I'd just be getting too fucking high, but it seemed like...
Look, you guys have been in this game long enough that you know what it is, right? Like, you gotta scan the QR code. You need to know the test results. You also need to know how to read sometimes a chromatography fucking graph.
Right.
And how to do math because, like, on a lot of products out there, for them to call that a THCO product or a THCV or a THCP, they need just enough for it to hit on a chromatography for them to be like, oh, now we got this product. So, like, the average amount of THCP that's going on out there, most manufacturers are putting 1 gram or 1 mil per liter
Psh.
Of
Wow.
Delta 8.
of Delta. So I'll take a liter of Delta 8
And then
1,000
mix in
mils,
1 gram
1 gram
of THCP. And then, we call it THCP, a blend of THCP because the THCP is insanely expensive. I also feel like I just said THCP so many times that it's lost its meaning.
Yeah.
It's so incredibly potent though that you are feeling hundreds of a mil or a gram. You know what I mean? Like you're feeling percentage points. But what we did is we looked at all of the pre-existing THCP products on the market. We looked at their test results. We tried a whole bunch of them. There were not that many. And most of them were hitting right at about that 1 mil or 1 gram. So we went and tripled that. So we're putting 3 mils or 3 grams of THCP to 1 liter of Delta 8 distillate. So you feel the P when you dab it or when you vape it. But we're still talking about like minute amounts of these cannabinoids.
Because
Yeah.
it's around 30 times stronger than traditional Delta 9, aka cannabis, weed, regular
What's
weed.
the most potent variant? Is that P?
THCP right now is the most potent cannabinoid. But what Tyler said kind of gets misconstrued. So like,
Well, that's on your CB1 receptor.
Yeah,
your
maybe-
CB2 receptor, it hits 5 to 10 times, but your CB1 is the one that's going to be your psychoactive.
so this goes back to like, and you guys probably know this. I don't know how many of your listeners do, but what Tyler's talking about is like how your body is absorbing cannabinoids like THC and CBD, right? And that is done internally through your CB1 and CB2 receptors, okay? And these are the things that regulate how much of these things are coming into your body and how you feel them, right?
In
Yes.
layman's terms, we have a weed nervous system called an endocannabinoid system.
Right, just like any body system, right? Your muscular system, skeletal system, nervous system. The endocannabinoid system was discovered in like 1991 or 1994. It's the newest body system to be discovered.
Dogs, cats, humans.
They figured out the CB1 and CB2 receptors. They also figured out that there's naturally occurring cannabinoids inside of your body already. So we're already making cannabinoids in minute amounts. So when you take CBD, when you take THC, when you take Delta 8 products, Delta 10, THCPs, when you take all of these alternative cannabinoids, you're in fact servicing your endocannabinoid system. The same way somebody might eat probiotic things for their gut health, right? You might eat X amount of things to boost your protein or boost your vitamins. Your endocannabinoid system is a body system. It needs to be serviced in that same regard. Things like CBD and THC are not a fad in the sense of like, oh, I'm going to take this to get fucked up, or I'm going to take this because it helps take the edge off. If we want to look at this from a medicinal standpoint, you need to be taking CBD, THC, and cannabinoids the same way you do supplements and vitamins.
And what happens if you don't?
Everyone has CBD in their system without taking it a long time ago, when hemp was just growing around and animals were eating it, and then we were eating those animals. We were literally getting CBD in our system, and then they stopped all of that, war on drugs, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah,
Like,
people
that
were
all
eating the hemp
disappeared.
cows.
Tyler took like 300 or 400 years of American history and went like that in one sentence. So if you really want to know what he just said, it's like one of the coolest facts that most people don't realize about hemp, right? So like there was naturally occurring cannabis here in North America prior to Europeans coming here, right? But when we came here in mass in the 1600s and shit, we brought hemp with us, right? And hemp was a required crop in our initial colonies when this was still a British colonial territory, right?
For rope, et cetera, et cetera.
But here's how it went, right? Hemp was mandated by your local magistrate, and you, as a member of that community, had to grow hemp. You had to contribute to your community's hemp supply in some regard, because it was not only used for rope, it was used for clothing, it was used for food, seed, you fed animals with it. I mean, they used the fuck out of hemp back then.
What would
And
you say is like a modern equivalent of that? Like, would you say it was as popular as cotton?
Modern equivalent. There's nothing.
No, the modern equivalent would be
Trees.
trash.
Paper, petroleum,
in a bad
plastic.
way. You know what I mean? All the comparisons now are negative because we got rid of one of the really good ones.
We got rid of one thing that has 250,000 uses, 250,000 uses for one plant, and subbed it out for like all of this other fucking shit.
Right. There was a dude that
is,
owned a paper company, right? Was it Hertz or something?
There's hemp paper is really crazy too, like because that takes a special type of pulp mill and like making hemp products, hemp fabrics, any of that shit.
It's falling off. It's hard.
Who was the dude that put an end to hemp consumption and use? That had like a campaign against it.
What's up?
Barack Obama.
Who was the dude that put an end to hemp use that had like a campaign against hemp and marijuana? He was like a media mogul.
Ooh. Oh, I'm not sure.
Like, why did we stop using hemp?
Lots of different reasons. I mean, we can get into that, but let me tell you the cool part about what Tyler said, right? All right, so you're back in the 1700s, right? You've brought hemp here. Everybody's growing it. That shit starts taking off. It's going wild, right? Throughout countrysides, all up and down the East Coast, there's literally hemp just growing fucking wild everywhere, right? Deer, small game, all of these animals, this hemp becomes a part of their diet, okay? This goes for 50, 100, 200, right? For a long chunk of time.
Your topsoil has CBD in it.
Okay? And the animals that become a major source of our ancestors' protein here in North America when they were hunting deer and small game, right? These animals are consuming large amounts of hemp. Thus, these animals contain large amounts of CBD and other cannabinoids in them. Thus, our population at one point in time was consuming, as part of their daily diet, CBD via these animals. Super crazy.
The circle of life.
Circle of life, right? And so as hemp continues on, you see hemp start getting fucked with in the 20s and 30s in like the jazz era, being labeled actually more towards like a racial division, separating out at the time Latinos and Mexican people as well as Black and African American people away from the white community. The jazz music and cannabis that these jazz musicians were smoking at the time. Now this is the same time when people are still banging heroin and shit too, and it's all condoned and cool. And you know, your local drugstore, there's cocaine and fucking everything.
Right, they don't know what's bad and what's good just yet. At that point, per se.
That's when you first start seeing things like marijuana get prosecuted and stuff like that. And even the word I just said, marijuana, is a pejorative term created by the United States government, right? If you break
it's like an anti-Latina thing. It's messed up.
For sure. If you break down the etymology of the word marijuana, it really means Mary and Juan. The people that our government attributed to bringing cannabis across that border in from Mexico into Texas.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Wow,
so that's why like I never say marijuana. It just seems like literally feels racist saying that word. Because cannabis is the actual word.
So marijuana is racist.
Yeah, and as Tyler and I are the last people to talk about some woke shit for real.
Yeah, we're
like,
not.
I don't want to get on that,
but it's true.
But this trained in American law and infrastructure on the books since the early 20s. The spelling of marijuana with a J or an I, but when you look at the root of that
the H.
We created it. Our government created it solely to talk about this plant that was being brought across. They didn't call it cannabis sativa, right? They created an additional name, and when you look at their definition, they're only talking about the cannabis sativa plant, right?
Right. You never have to create a new name for something for a good reason. You're either trying to
mislead.
You're misleading. You're either making it sounds like in the marijuana case more derogatory. Or maybe at best you're making a term that is meant to like when they used to call PTSD shell shock, you know, they just made it a softer word for our vaginas so that way when it
they made it sound better because you know shell shock it puts your head there and you're like picturing fucked up shit.
Yeah, no one wants to be shocked.
Yeah. But PTSD, like that just sounds like something you take a fucking pill for, you know?
Exactly.
Have either of you read The Emperor's New Clothes? Or The Emperor Wears No Clothes?
Mm-hmm.
Which one is it? The Emperor Wears No Clothes.
Wears No Clothes, I think.
It's like the Hemp Bible.
It's the Bible.
It's an amazing book. Talks about every bit of history and slander that came out and how things were subverted and subdued. You know, and I think, Marco, what you touched on when you were like, when did this real war start? and you were talking about a paper company, you're talking about at a time in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, like that shit you learn about in like U.S. history in high school, right? Like this pivotal point change where like our country experienced this massive industrial revolution. The middle class was created, right? We came out of World War One. We hadn't gone into World War II yet, but we were building up to all of that. And what happened in there is you saw the rise of huge corporations, from paper, tree mill, pulp manufacturers. You saw the rise of media and newspaper moguls that had happened through the end of the 1800s into the early 1900s, right? And that printing and book and that domination, as well as newspaper, things of that nature. You saw the rise of media through radio. You also saw the rise of chemical companies like DuPont and things of that nature, right? And you saw the rise and the birth of Teflons and all these other things that started coming out, petroleum-based products. And you saw this collective push from all of these bigger industries to subdue this one thing that was like, well, this could be used as fuel. We use this as paper. We use this in place of cotton. We use this in place of denim. You know what I mean? Like all of these things. If you look at the, 1941 March issue of Popular Mechanics, Henry Ford debuts his like bio car.
Let me just pull that out of my fucking file cabinet.
Yeah, because now it's 60, 80 years old.
Do you want to say that again for the podcast people so that they can look it up?
Popular Mechanics, I think 1941 March, something like that.
Everyone's got a copy.
Man, we could have been driving hemp mobiles, but here we are paying $4 a fucking gallon.
But we're talking about 80 years ago, Henry Ford debuted this fucking bio car, and there's pictures of him in the fucking magazine smashing the car with a fucking sledgehammer. It's not denting.
And the whole damn thing's hemp.
It's made out of hemp and corn and like other things that were grown around the Midwest, around Michigan.
And that still are.
That they made into these composites, and I'm pretty sure the motherfucker was biofuel as well. All like subverted, pushed.
And now, I mean, also like, everyone gets confused with the plastic thing. It's like, yeah, plastics are still plastics. Like hemp plastic is still plastic. Like it's it's still biodegradable because there's hemp in it, but there still is polymers and things in that. So it's like people get confused with that. It's like,
so it's hemp mixed with plastic.
Exactly. Exactly.
Injected molded, plastic injected molded, like high impact injection molding. You could make it. You can take the resinous fibers and inject mold them the same way you can. The only difference is it's not transparent. So like Tupperware, you could start making out of hemp. Do you guys carry scales at any of your locations?
Yeah, we have a couple.
You know the company My Way?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so My Way about 12, 15 years ago came out with a fucking hemp scale. And they spent all this extra money and manufactured a hemp-injected plastic molded scale. The whole scale was like green, and you could see hemp fibers in it and shit. Same price as all the rest of the scales. And they sold through the fucking roof because they advertised that it was made out of hemp plastic. And they were doing their part to kind of test and try the market.
When we were doing our hemp production, we wanted to get those so bad, but they were really honestly just like small kitchen scale. So they only went up to an ounce. I'm weighing like pounds and pounds.
Yeah, chump change.
It was sad.
But you see little vestiges of that popping up, right? You saw that French company about 15 years ago come out with that hempcrete, and it's 10 times stronger than concrete and 7 times lighter.
Right.
All made out of crazy hemp fibers, all just like pressed together.
Well, you're mixing compounds together. So like even like piecrete, you can make piecrete out of hemp fibers as well. That's sawdust and ice, and that literally blocks cannonballs. Like that's old school shit. And obviously it has to be cold outside to do that.
So, okay.
I guess Hemp for the War was a huge program that our government put on all the way through World War II, right? Our soldiers are gone. Women took over. Women are running factories in the U.S. All major factories have now switched to war production. Farmers then went on a campaign through like the Department of Agriculture at the time and pushed farmers through this huge Grow Hemp for the War campaign. And that was the last huge vestige up until the beginning of 2019 when you saw the Farm Bill change, that you saw hemp production exist in the United States, and it was condoned and supported. And and brought to market like that.
That's what I was just going to ask. So fast forwarding a little bit, when did it start becoming legal again, and how did that happen? Did people lobby the government? Like, how did that come about?
Yeah, the passage of the Farm Bill in December of 2018 is what paved the way for industrial hemp to finally be sown into the ground in the United States via permit process. And what that called for and what that regulated the law, and it affects everything we've been talked about leading up to this point and what you guys sell in your stores and everything like that, is it dictated that hemp would be defined as something below 0.3% delta-9 tetrahydrocannabinol. And that's the fucking only thing that matters now.
And that's federal.
And that's by weight of product. So that's how these delta-9. Sure.
Hey, you guys might want to maybe move a little bit closer. You're chopping a little bit.
Chop like a ceiling fan.
Yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Let me get all next to Tyler.
Absolutely.
Tyler was saying something.
You can still talk, buddy.
It's weird. Tyler just went off the screen, and
just because I'm in the settings doesn't mean that you can't talk.
So it's there you are.
Since we paused topic, I want to say something.
Hit it.
Okay, what's the word for weed that we all call it? What do we say? It starts
Pot.
with a C. No,
Marijuana.
I said it starts with a C.
Oh, cannabis.
Right. We all say cannabis. So this debate that keeps going on of how to say cannabinoid, isn't it obviously cannabinoid? Not, how do you say it?
Cannabinoid.
Yeah. What we don't say cannabis or cannabis.
Cannabis.
I can't even say it that way.
Yeah, I always say cannabinoid.
Cannabis. Right. Not cannabinoid.
Whatever. Who gives a fuck?
But then you hear some British researcher talk about it, and you're like, what?
Because that debate always
What about
comes up on
Kevin?
everything. It's like, wait, do I say it this way or this way? Well, I would say it the way that we say cannabis, right? So cannabinoid.
That's
Why
how
don't
I
you
say
guys-
it.
It's a
Why
fair
don't you
point.
guys tell me this, right? You guys currently exist in one of the states here in the country, right? You're 3.5 hours from us, but it's light years away across that border because you have medicinal legal
We got medicinal and rec.
and recreational legal cannabis at stores. And because you have that, how does that work with you guys in your retail settings where you're selling a product like Delta 8, Delta 10, THCP, which is wonderful because your customers are able to avoid the tax. But
Right.
do you see pushback from people that are like, oh, I go to the dispensary and I'm willing to pay $40 for a half-gram cart? Or
Oh, absolutely. People are going to have their preferences, and, pot is, it's a personal habit, so anytime you're selling people a personal habit, they're going to do incredibly strange and illogical things simply because it is a personal habit. I mean, you got people that go to the dispensary, they find one fucking strain of bud, and that's what they smoke on. They don't like to venture because they're pussies. I mean, unadventurous. Just boring people.
Consumers.
Whatever. So,
I was saying nobody likes getting the same herb off their herb man for weeks and weeks in a row.
right.
Right.
But a lot of people do get stuck with like a brand or consistency cannabis-wise, and I guess don't really see the need or the desire to venture into, as I call them, alt cannabinoid or legal other forms of legal THC. But on the counter end to that, a lot of customers really appreciate that they don't have to pay taxes. The convenience factor is there. I mean, there's not a whole lot of difference between vaping like one of you guys' cartridges compared to another cartridge that you're going to get at a dispensary. In my opinion,
The tax in the dispensary is at least 30%, right? And then it goes up depending on
yeah,
the
so you're going to
milligram.
pay an extradited price to begin with, and then you're going to pay 25 to 35% depending on THC concentration, thanks to how our legalization has been structured. And it's very tight in our state, and it's honestly bullshit because it cuts out pretty much anybody besides people that were already extremely well off and highly politically involved, et cetera, et cetera. So it's really all just a big plot, and greasing hands that are already big. You know, like Cresco Labs owns Sunnyside, which is by far the biggest dispensary in our town, our county. And, you know, they had millions and millions and millions of dollars before they ever opened their doors here.
Yeah, we don't have a shot to grow or sell it
No.
unless we have like a base minimum
Millions.
and political connections.
Right, you would need millions and political clout for anybody to be involved in any way, shape, or form in the legal cannabis industry here in Illinois, besides literally, you know, maybe working at a dispensary or otherwise other grow ops, something like that. But as far as
That's kind of a job. That's different.
right,
Well,
right,
So like a couple things that you said that are kind of funny. One, wait, we got to touch on this. It's not that people, if they come to your shop and purchase our products or any alternative cannabinoids from Marco, that they're avoiding taxes. They still have to pay Illinois state sales tax.
right. First and foremost,
They don't
right.
have to pay 30% more for
Right.
a product that
And you would also be paying that same rate in sales tax in addition to the 35% marijuana tax that I aforementioned, talking about our legal cannabis market here in Illinois. So
it's like Tyler and I both worked in the medical cannabis field during its inception in the state of Colorado. And I watched that shit. You were there when it went rec, weren't you?
Yeah, I voted on it.
I watched the birth of the medical industry, and I left before it went rec. But he saw both sides of it. And from its inception, there were always mom and pop shops. And then what you saw is those mom and pops that scraped together $50,000 for a non-refundable licensing fee just to see if they had a chance, and then spent all this crazy money. They eventually got bought up by all of these larger corporations that had millions of dollars because they weren't releasing more permits, right? It was like, we got a dispensary permit. That shit became like having a fucking cafe or coffee shop permit in Amsterdam. They
Right.
ain't made those since '73. Those motherfuckers just get passed around and shit. And what happened in Colorado is you saw everyone get squeezed out, and you're experiencing the same thing. At least you guys have the opportunity to sell alternative cannabinoids like 810P and all of that,
yeah,
to be able to provide your customers with something as effective. And I want to wager that our distillates that we use in all of our Mako products are as clean, if not cleaner, than the shit you're going to find at any dispensary throughout Illinois. And I say that because I know that the raw materials we receive have full panel testing done on them. That's heavy metals and pesticides in addition to their cannabinoid profile that's done.
Right. We go through the same processing, that they do in order to be able to be sold.
Right. We want to ensure that what we're selling to you for you to put on your shelves and for your end user to buy is going to be the highest quality experience they can. Even if they're looking at it and they see our products are like in a blister packaging, I mean, it's like, yeah, it's not in the box. Why create more trash? Why should I spend more money so you spend more money so your customer spends more money, all to open that shit up and throw it in the trash can right there? That doesn't need to happen.
Yeah, I don't like making more trash. We're already making enough trash.
Like, this is the highest quality distillate you're going to get. Period. The end. And you can scan the results and you can see how clean all of that shit is. And we'll take the Pepsi challenge on it with anybody putting distillate out there.
Let's get into you guys, your company, because we never even went over that really. So you guys started in the vape industry. If you want to take it from there, go ahead.
Personally, yes. We started in the vape industry. We are still in the vape industry.
I don't even know this.
We own Splash E-Liquid.
Woo! It's been a big seller for us for years now.
Yes, we've sold many hundreds of bottles.
We appreciate you guys.
Of course, great product.
We'll be in 100 mils soon, so that's fantastic.
Sweet.
And
Ian, you like to do your whole little background thing, and then I usually fill in. But I started first, so it felt less natural because it was usually the other way around, actually.
You want like all of it, or just
all of it's too long?
I would say lead up to what got you guys in the hemp industry.
Give a good overview. You were selling this, doing that, led to this, led to that.
We both worked in the cannabis industry in Colorado at separate times. Yeah, before we met each other.
Wow.
But we lived in Colorado at the same time.
And we ate at the same like restaurant up in the mountains because we lived right around the corner from each other in the mountains, but at separate times and didn't know each other yet.
Wow.
And then we met at a convention
That is
in the
adorable.
vape industry.
Yeah. So we both came up in the vape industry, and we would always sit there talking to our bosses, like, yo, we need to work together. Let's do a collab. Let's do a sales trip. And then our bosses were like, why do you guys always want to work with this other company? And then it was like a year of that, and we both quit our jobs and started a business together.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's all right.
And Splash was part of that, birth out of that. In addition, Mako Hemp Company was the birth out of that. I, prior to us forming our thing, had been working for another hemp and CBD company that had been local here in the area. I had drummed up a lot of business and sales for them. And prior to the first set of Indiana hemp laws coming in, when it was green lighted by the federal farm bill in early 19, before Indiana got the jump on regulating it that June or July before they left for summer session, hemp was just this crazy. It was a green light, but it was still a gray area.
It was a gray free-for-all.
And if you guys remember what states were like with CBD back in fucking 19, it was crazy. 1 week your state was like, this is cool. Your county said no. One day it was awesome. I don't know what to do with my
You
hands.
keep
Yes.
making the camera refocus and fucking killing me. Stop moving your hands so much because the camera's trying to focus on your...
Mamma mia. So it's federally legal, and then state by state, they've obviously made their own
And
decisions.
States would flip-flop. So I worked for a cannabis company. We drummed up all this business. They bounced and moved their business to Denver and left like 40 accounts high and dry. So Tyler and I saw a need for high-quality CBD-rich hemp flower in our local area here. And we fucking, with the help of our like amazing graphic designer, Monica at the time,
You're breaking out a little bit.
it's like Mako branding right here. We did that. We got together. We threw those orders together and launched that company. Like
With all Mako hemp flower, with smokable CBD hemp flower.
You guys are chopping a little
that's
bit.
illegal now.
I had to call it biomass now in Indiana because they made it illegal. So we stopped selling the flower. Paul's, like I said in the beginning of our meeting here, our little podcast.
Yeah, so what's up with you guys' current hemp regulations? Because I don't think people really understand how dramatically that can affect supply chains and product availability, and really just how utterly stupid it is that there's so much opposition between federal okay and state to municipality and so forth.
Dude, it's even stupider than that. It boils down to one word. That one word is smokable. So they pushed farmer after farmer after farmer to invest millions of dollars in getting this hemp infrastructure up. Smokable hemp flower was the fucking mainstay of that industry. It wasn't fiber. Nobody was growing. There's no textile mills producing fucking hemp.
They're not even growing that type of hemp.
Yeah, so
Right.
everyone's trying to grow this flower and then for it to become illegal and not illegal. So what they did with those laws is they put a strain on farmers, they put a strain on businesses like ourselves, they put a strain on shops, and all they did was inject this word smokable in there and say hemp is legal, but smokable hemp flower is illegal.
And that's Indiana specifically.
In Indiana.
And
Right.
what they did in the process, though, they didn't actually follow any of these laws. They're not doing anything about it. But originally in the wording, it was like, oh, you can't be an Indiana-based company and even make money off of something called smokable hemp flower. So even if you're selling it out of state, can't do it. Can't transport it through the state. Like that just clashes with everything because of shipping. So the whole thing makes no sense, and it's just crazy.
We sued the state on 2 different occasions. I think there were 3 different lawsuits against the state. We took part in 2 of them, I believe, with the help of numerous other companies. We did not spearhead that shit, and we will not take credit for it. But we did sign our name to it and put up the money to fight that. And, you know, even the orders you guys were placing and the orders your customers were buying, a nice percentage of all of that was going in to fight that lawsuit to be able to keep us in business. It ended up not working. So the resurgence of our brand now are these alternative cannabinoids. And they happen to be almost a better space.
I'm happier in it.
Yeah,
I like being able to sell the CBD. I like working with the flower, but I have more of a personal investment, I think, in getting high. I know
Right.
it sounds
Absolutely.
stupid.
Gotta love what you do.
It sounds silly, but like in the end, that's how everybody feels. If you smoke weed, you just enjoy getting high with weed. Like if I can work with it the way that I like, then it's great. And I mean, I
That's the
still
simple
love
truth of it.
CBD. Like yeah, like don't get it wrong. I love CBD. I literally just mixed CBD isolate into my THCP dabs and mixed it all in last night. And I've been taking dabs of it mixed with the CBD because it's like super full effect. It's great. I love CBD. I don't,
Yeah.
but it's fun to be able to.
It's it's like salt. You know, you gotta add it on with the other cannabinoids.
MSG, my guy, way better than salt.
I don't know. I'm a salt guy. I don't do that monosodium glutamate too much, but I feel what you're saying nonetheless.
It does seem that some people have a problem marketing hemp products and cannabinoids as something to get you high. And I personally don't have any problem with that. Like, first of all, people enjoy getting high, and I'd rather
Well, there's
approach
nothing
it
wrong.
honestly than to like make up some medical vitamin bullshit. Which there are the medical aspects, obviously, but also just good old fashioned gets you high.
We didn't follow a certain amount of the laws, but at a certain point, when you're talking to a customer, they know what they're buying. They know what's going on.
Right.
They're not going to go to their local police station and say, "Oh, that guy said bong," and it's like, well, if I'm selling you glass for hemp, I'm pretty sure I can call it bong. It's not for tobacco.
Right, like we could sell bongs in this state and say, dude, this is literally for the fucking shop next door, bro. Bite me.
Right. Exactly. So it's like water pipe, hemp, CBD. It's like, yeah, it gets us high.
you'll get kicked out of a head shop in the state of Indiana. Say bong.
Still,
Yeah.
oof.
Probably depends on who's working.
What's super crazy? I
Because the hemp flower now isn't smokable. So before it was fine for a minute, you could kind of get away with it, and now it's back to not being fine because it's not smokable hemp flower.
I know you guys
You
aren't.
should market it as boofable.
Football. That's so funny.
Everything is capable, my guy.
I know you guys
Yeah.
order, but there have been news
Never
stories that
thinking
have
about
come out of like the last year or so of reporters going to shops along the Illinois Indiana border, the Michigan Indiana border, and polling the shop owners. What percentage of your business are customers from the state of Indiana? And most of these shops are saying 60 to 70% of their business comes from people driving from the state of Indiana into Illinois or into Michigan to shop at their recreational dispensaries.
It's not illegal to buy it there.
Right.
It's not illegal for them to sell it. So
Like, that's so dumb of the state that we live in, of the state that we own a business in and pay taxes in, that these people have to cross into another state to purchase this product legally.
Yeah, and then it's illegal as soon as they cross the border, so like what was the whole fucking point of that? You just paid way too much taxes and should have been buying it from your boy off the fucking street.
Is it legal to possess but not sell?
Cannabis
in Marion County, which is the downtown area surrounding.
in one county in Indiana, the main county in Indianapolis, where we exist and where business exists, cannabis sativa itself is decriminalized. If you have an ounce or less, it's a ticketable offense due to overpopulation in our jails. But that law has been in effect for more than a decade. Now, what's come about recently in the last 2 or 3 years, our city prosecutors came out and they were like, we will never, ever again hear, prosecute, listen, or enforce any cannabis-related cases in our county ever. So what that then did was it took the decriminalization in the city even further, because now it's up to a law enforcement officer's discretion, whether that's an Indianapolis Metropolitan Police officer or a Marion County sheriff. Those two people have jurisdiction within the county. If they decide that they want to take it a little bit further and arrest you and ticket you, that's fine, but you'll never get the summons to court because the prosecutors themselves will never prosecute or hear another cannabis case again. They don't want to deal with it. They have said that they will not inflict that upon the people of this county.
So in a way, Indiana's a little bit cooler than people think, because if you come downtown, you can walk around with an ounce of weed in your pocket and open beer downtown, and you're not going to get arrested.
I mean, that's pretty dope.
Yeah.
We can't get away with that shit up here, and we're legal.
They did the open alcohol container thing for Colts, Super Bowl thing. I don't know. Ian knows. I didn't even live here when they did that. They just never dropped the sanction, but it was for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, when we put
So
in
that they didn't arrest
in the bid for the Super Bowl, and we had to build all these crazy hotels, and I think that's when they built the stadium and all that shit. They were like, we'll repeal our open carry law. So they repealed the open carry law for the entire fucking city. Ooh, excuse me.
Damn, son.
And never put it back on the books. So, like, you're free to open carry.
Your pistol and your alcohol.
That's not too bad.
Wow.
You can't open carry in this state.
What do you mean? My permit says I can.
You have a concealed carry permit, so you have the right to. You can't just constitutional open carry in the
I was
state.
only talking about us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we have
The
concealed
laws
carry.
are on the books. You guys don't know nothing about that, though, do you?
About open carry?
It's just gun laws and being in Illinois. It's like fucking.
It sucks over there, doesn't it?
Well, we have to get a FOID, which is not. I think we're the only state that requires that, but we at least got concealed carry.
Yeah, it's not terrible.
State will have permits, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, with an additional license.
Right. It's just another Jewish way to make a couple extra fucking bucks off of you.
Hey, you guys have a lot of Ams out by you, don't you?
Do you mean Amish people?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, not by us, but
Nah.
in northern Indiana for sure.
Like
And,
northern Indiana,
on the Ohio side.
mid to northern Ohio, and then western Pennsylvania is where they are.
And
So
southwestern
those are
Michigan,
the
too.
guys banning all the hemp.
Yeah, like we're here on map. There's Amish like across this area.
One time,
So,
my grandpa, who lives in Italy, came to visit, and he's like interested in history and people and animals and shit like that. So we were like taking him around, showing him sites kind of locally, and we made a special trip to Indiana to check out the Amish. And like thinking about that now, it felt kind of like not quite racist, but almost like a zoo. Like, come check out the Amish people and their lifestyle.
Yeah, in a way, he was acting how a lot of Japanese people like to act with like anyone that goes there that isn't Japanese. They'll just start talking about you, and they're interested as fuck. That's all it is.
I mean,
Yeah,
Xavier-
fascination
It's not
for
a
sure.
bad thing to be interested in somebody else. Like,
No, not at all.
world class craftsmen. Like,
Yeah.
Amish on a whole, the woodworking they put out, what those
and they're
dudes-
amazing tradesmen with like how they compile money and use it for the community for like health insurance and different things like that. Yeah, they're
Yes.
amazingly smart. with stuff.
communities are all off. A
Yeah, I
whole
was
bunch of
just seeing-
Amish dudes recently got prosecuted as like gun dealers because they were like hooking up all the other Amish people.
Oh, yeah.
What
What are you talking about? Amish Mafia?
Certain, not
No.
that. No, not that specifically.
Amish people are weird though. They want to conduct business within their own community. They want to keep it within their own community.
Yeah.
But
Which means not registering, and most of the time you're not going to get caught because it is within the community, and you're not like selling guns to random people on the street. You're selling it to your neighbor who's making sure that he needs to
have a
Kill-
rifle.
kill a fox or
Yeah.
whatever. Like it's not. Yeah.
Amish communities are huge. Like Indiana is, and northern Indiana is the capital for RV and trailer production for the world. I don't know if you guys knew that, but like the Amish population makes up a huge percentage of that workforce. So a lot of them leave their homesteads with no electricity and running water, and they go and work in like Monaco or Forest River, these massive motor coach or RV fifth wheel travel trailer factories that are all across northern Indiana.
We got super off topic.
Doing all this cabinetry work, and what Martin was talking about.
Yeah, oh, it's fascinating. Good people.
I love your grandfather.
And then Indiana. And it's all kind of ties back in.
And that's it. You got Marion County and Amish folks.
No, there's corn in between, dude.
Oh, okay. Can't forget
There's
that.
Hamilton County above us. Hamilton County is just like
The last place you want to be.
more white people and more money.
It's rated as like one of the fastest growing places in the U.S.
They have a bunch of roundabouts.
Which county
No
is that?
lights. It's just all roundabouts. It's kind of,
It's just roundabouts and houses.
Sounds pretty nice.
but you're seeing like a huge influx, like where you've seen a lot of people from California leaving California and moving to Idaho because they can buy property for a fraction of the price. You're seeing a lot of that with younger families moving to the county that I mentioned, Hamilton County, just north of us, because the school systems are nationally accredited and rated in the top of their field. A home they would have in Cali that would be millions is only in the 300 or 400 or 500,000. You know what I mean? And they can be in these little like secluded suburbia areas that are just like popping off all around our county.
Yeah. A lot of those people that move from the coastline, they just realize they only went to the beach once a year anyway.
Yeah,
Right.
Like,
You guys have lakes, right?
that's the thing. Like, if I lived in Cali, it'd be about as often as I go to fucking Chicago. Once, twice a year.
I
Maybe.
get it. I want to like be in the water. I want to be like a prune, so I want to move to Florida, but we'll get there eventually.
Yeah, Florida is way better than Cali.
I know I want to be a raisin.
Yeah. That's a good
I
goals.
want to look like Marco.
Do you guys remember Raisinets?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Raisinets.
Did they stop making those?
They still make raisinets.
No, I mean like the little cartoons that came out of them.
No.
I don't like
Like
raisinets.
toys?
It's so poisonous to dogs.
Like the little raisins with arms and legs and stuff.
I don't recall that.
I got one somewhere in a box of toys. When we do round 2, I'll come back with the little raisins.
Yeah.
There we go.
Let's get into your products. So you guys are not Kurt does all the ordering, so I really don't know your products that well, to be honest. But you guys are not selling any smokable?
No, we cannot by law sell any smokable hemp flower.
Bogus.
I sell dabs and carts.
Okay.
That's
So what do you guys have on the lineup?
There's Delta 10 carts.
Reach your long arms behind you and grab some stuff.
All right. For the Delta 10 lineup, there is the Alaskan Thunder Funk. Man, there you go. Hit that lighting right there. Alaskan Thunder Funk. It's the sativa. Boom. You got the Strawberry Banana Kush. It's the hybrid. And then the Cherry Pie. So like we said, this is a Delta 10 blend. Most people on the market doing a Delta 10 blend, you have to have Delta 8 to have the Delta 10 suspended in something. Most people's blends are 60% 8 to 30% 10, the remaining portion being terpenes and flavoring. We flipped the script on it. We wanted more 10 to 8 in there because 10 is not as psychotropic. It's more of a relaxed feeling, and it's not as strong as 8. So there is 60% Delta 10 to 30% Delta 8 in our products, in those 3 carts.
Daytime, still working kind of vibe.
Yeah, for sure. If you want to look at the way these cannabinoids work, it's like if you just wanted to take the edge off and you needed some relief, you long day standing on your feet, have some HHC. You want to catch like a mild little buzz, but nothing more than that because you still got to cook dinner and pick the kids up from fucking practice or something. Have some Delta 10. If you're looking to actually like get high and catch a buzz, Delta 8 is wonderful for that. If you want to take that to the next level, you could slide over to live resin products, which have a cannabis-derived terpene in them, still Delta 8, or you step up into the range of THCP, THCV.
Real quick, those live resin terpenes give so much of a different feel, like body-wise, that it just makes the Delta 8 that much better. It's kind of
Right.
Most of the terpenes used in a lot of things are not actually cannabis extracted terpenes. If you're doing live extraction from a hemp plant, you're getting like the best, most amazing amount of terpenes ever, and that's what is changing the effect of a strain anyway. So that's where you're really getting extra oomph, if you will.
Next in the lineup, we got Delta 8 dabs. These are 3-gram jars of Delta 8 dabs. I don't know if you guys have picked these up yet, but you should. They retail at $40. So now your customer can come in and get 3 grams of dabs for $40.
That's cheap as
Right?
fuck.
Like, no one is going to say no to it, right? For the customers out there that dab, the people that are going into a dispensary and actually spending $30 and $40 and $50 on a gram of fucking wax, they can come into your shop, they can buy Delta 8 in 3 different strains, 3-gram jar, $40, they can be out the door,
Yeah,
which is fucking amazing.
The cost efficiency is definitely there with the distillates.
What'd you say?
The cost efficiency is definitely there with the distillates and Delta 8, all cannabinoids in general. That's another cool thing that people don't really realize. And that's how I always looked at it. It's like, dude, if you're a real fan of cannabis, how are you not going to try these line of products that, especially Delta 8, that's naturally occurring to some extent and is all derived from CBD anyways? Like, you got to try this stuff, man. It's awesome if you're a fan.
Well, and like Tyler said, In the Delta 8 dabs, we have a sativa, which is the ice cream cookies flavor. We have the indica, which is a platinum OG. And then for the hybrid, we did the strawberry banana kush again.
Nice.
And you'll see that in our brands that there are a few things that cross over.
Some do here and there, ones that we've kind of favored, if you will.
And then we have the THCP dabs that are up next. These are a 1 gram jar of THCP dabs. So the indica is a McLovin OG. The hybrid is blueberry amnesia. And then once again, because the flavor is so dank and it's Tyler and I's favorite, the ice cream cookies. So you can get the ice cream cookies in a Delta 8 3 gram jar, or you can get the ice cream cookies in a THCP dab as well, or a THCP cart. So for the THCP line, you can get the same thing, 1 gram of a dab, 1 mil of a cart. So that's a sativa, and then the McLovin OG for the indica, and then the blueberry amnesia for the hybrid.
So the THCP dab will get you the highest? Like, that's the most potent you guys carry?
Yes,
Definitely.
for sure. The cart second, the Delta 8 dab third, the D10 cart fourth. We have an HHC line that drops here tomorrow. Following up next week or two, we have a set of live resin products being released. So they'll be formed in Delta 8 distillate, really high quality stuff. And then they have some real small batch live resin terpenes in there. So for those of you listening that don't know about terpenes, terpenes are a huge thing. You can get terpenes out of fruit or floral fauna extracts, but the best terpenes come actually cannabis derived. So our buddy in Texas does really high-end indoor grows for his hemp, and then he cuts all of it down, flash freezes it, and sends it off to extraction within a few hours. It's like within less than a day. It's all extracted for its terpene content and then sent back to him. And that's what he uses to manufacture this line of live resin products that we'll have coming out. So we'll have a 1 mil dab syringe, like one of those glass syringes, so you can squeeze it right into your bucket. You could put right into your little vaporizer, ceramic coil pen if you got one of those.
Put it in a blunt, whatever.
Squeeze it onto a roll-up B, put it onto a bowl, do whatever you want. The syringe is like super easy applicator, easy to travel with. The next will be a 1 gram jar. Get this, you ready? Live resin D8 diamonds, right? So we got chunky live resin D8 diamonds coming out. They're super dank and potent. And then the third product will be a disposable with that same distillate. And there will be 2 strains, a Galactic Kush and a cheesecake. One indica, one sativa. We stayed away from the hybrid. Staying true to form. These are the actual strains of hemp that were grown. We know where they were grown. We know the parameters they were grown under. We saw the test results of the actual flower that was grown before it went off for extraction, for its terpene extraction. And then we've had all of those tests done afterwards. So it's going to be like the cream of the crop for what we're doing for Mako as far as like flavor and taste was.
How many SKUs do you guys have? Do you know?
By the time everything gets released over the next couple of weeks, I think we'll be at 21 SKUs for Mako, and then the 12 SKUs for Splash, and then how many SKUs are in PC?
Get rid of PC.
Oh, all right. So yeah, 21 in Mako and 12 in Splash.
Okay. And what's your guys' hand in the manufacturing process with the hemp products?
So we are indeed all of the flavoring profiles on everything, hand in hand with the lab that's actually doing the production. We sat down there with an array of terpenes and an array of distillates they had to be able to come to the proper blend to be able to get these products to hit the way Tyler and I want them to, because we're snobs. We've been in this industry for a long time, through everything that we've done. And, you can see our hard work, not only in the branding, not only in the graphics work that we did, but you can taste it in the distillate. You can taste it in the production, right on your shirt right there. We stand behind what we do. But right before we got on this recording, one of your customers called us to be like, yo, I picked up some products at Marco's. I was wondering why they're not on the website. And it was like, we're not there yet. We're supporting our retail locations first. And he was like, well, while we're on the subject, can I give you some feedback? I really love your new products. I loved all your old shit, but your new shit is awesome. And this dude talked to Tyler for like 10 minutes about how much he loved our products and what we were putting out there. And he was one of your customers.
That's awesome.
Hey, How about
His
that
name is Tony.
timing?
He's
Let's
the
go.
Yeah, do you know Tony?
He said what's up.
Tony.
He said he's been shopping at your shop forever.
You better know Tony,
We
because
probably
Tony
know
knows.
Tony.
Yeah, I know a few Tonys. I'm trying to think of which one.
Oh, he's calling in now.
Yeah. We got Tony on the line.
Oh, there he is.
Well, if Tony comes in, or Tony, if you're listening, shout out. Thanks for the love. We're going to keep doing what we do for people like you.
Absolutely. No, you guys make a killer product. I've really enjoyed the new THCP carts a lot, and I'll definitely have to be scooping up some of those THCP dabs. I'd say I really like that a lot. Are you guys doing any THCV stuff? I know you guys mentioned it a good amount.
We're going to be doing some stuff with the THCV. The thing with it is that it's super sativa, so you don't have as much of a range to play with the like terpenes, because I could put all the sativa or all the indica terpenes I want in it, and it's going to be still like very head high. So
Yeah.
you kind of only have the sativa option. In my opinion, if someone's writing indica on there, they just tried really hard to put a bunch of indica style terpenes in there.
That's how I felt with even Delta 10. I mean, you can balance it out better with your D8 blends and such, like you guys were saying, I suppose, but it seems just like lighter and more heady than Delta 8 by miles. And
Sure, you should still grab the Delta 8 dabs, dude, because like as cost effective goes for the customer, that's why we put those out. You'll see that we have no other straight Delta 8 products. We don't have a Delta 8 disposable. We don't have a Delta 8 cart. Those markets are flooded.
yeah,
But we wanted to put out a really cost effective, high quality Delta 8 dab because Delta 8 is the base of everything else we're making. And that's what you're going to
Absolutely.
see. Tyler and I have come along at a process or at a point in this whole process where we've seen everything that's come out. We're filling in niches. We're finding really high quality product to fill that void. Hence the THCP, the live resin stuff we're dropping, even down to the distillates that we use. They're individually selected to make sure that everybody loves what the fuck they're vaping on.
absolutely.
So we sell some THC9 currently because of a weight loophole. You guys are aware of that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We actually sell gummies and stuff like that too, so I can send you some info for that. Dude, I get gummies that are 100 milligram a gummy. It's 1,000 milligram bags of gummies, dude. They are gangster.
Okay.
Those are the regular Delta 8 ones. Excuse me. The other ones are not as strong because they can't be as strong. Those are like
25 milligrams.
there's 25 and then there's 12.5 milligram ones. But then, sorry, I was mixing it up mentally. My bad. Let me go back.
No,
There
so you
are
guys are
Rice-
selling 9
There
as
are
well.
Rice
Okay.
Krispies that are 300 milligram Delta 9 Rice Krispies, and those are really cool.
Fellas,
That's a lot of Delta 9.
I hate to do this, but I'm running late now. I got 2 people showing up at my warehouse, and I got a meeting with an accountant. So Tyler's going to sit here and wrap up and bullshit with you guys for a little bit. I love both of you, and I will talk to both of you soon. Thank
Love
you
you,
for this
bro.
Hey,
opportunity.
love you. You guys are fucking awesome. Thank you for sitting down and having a little chat with us about the awesome stuff that you guys are putting out in the world.
Yes.
Appreciate you guys.
But you got Tyler for as long as you want him. So
I also have a meeting in about 15 minutes, so
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
do a little conclusion stuff. I was also going to ask you guys' thoughts about HHC because you mentioned it. And
Definitely, I can give you a full rundown on
it's
this.
like CBD on steroids. If
Yeah.
you want CBD relief, HHC is like 100x of what you would feel from hitting some CBD.
that makes sense because I've been dabbing a little distillate that I got recently of it, and it reminds me of like even a more mild D10, I guess.
Yeah, at 100%. That's why Ian said HHC first in his little breakdown, because it really is like not as strong. Because at first, you know how it is. A new cannabinoid comes out and everybody goes, "Oh, it's going to get me so much higher." Blah 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 blah. But it's like nobody really tried it yet. It's just a different cannabinoid. You don't know until
Right.
like, you actually
Some nerd somewhere isolated it, and some stoner finally was like, "Yo, dude, just give me a fucking jar of that shit. Let's see how it
the
does."
nerd
Right.
stoner
Let's
supply
see.
chain.
And then that stoner's buddy was like, "Yo, let's fucking slang this shit."
Exactly.
And I was actually all 3 of those people.
Same. Same. But yeah, the HHC is really, really good for somebody that, I mean, basically somebody that can't focus. I'm not gonna say it fixes things or throw things out there, but
Yeah.
somebody that would be, let's say, on a spectrum, and I'm not saying that's a negative thing for the record, and ADHD, things of that nature. Like
Yeah.
me, it does help with that stuff a lot. It's kind of like a focuser. It's basically like how Adderall would be minus all of that like Adderall feeling. You're not hyper. You're not up. You're not
Yeah.
like zooming. You're just kind of focused, and it still has
Chill.
that like, mild cannabis vibe to it.
Yeah, very, very chill, and it's like it's so heady to me that it's almost like you can't tell if you're high or not.
Exactly.
But you
CBD
feel
on
like
steroids
altered?
is probably called that.
Yeah, that's a very fair way to explain that. I'll have to keep that in the back pocket. And then, you guys are you guys doing any THCO stuff? I know you were breaking it down a little bit earlier, and
We're staying away from it right now because, I mean, just to be honest, most of our distributors that we work with aren't selling it. They're staying away from it, and we were like, all right, well, we're going to stay away from it too. Like, I've tried it. It really just felt like Delta 8 to me. I'm cool with Delta 8 in comparison. I'd rather mix some other stuff into the D8 and make some new products that way because I know
Yeah.
that D8 is a great base.
D8 in and of itself is limitless, and I've been a huge fan of it. You know, I got a buddy that grows hemp out here, and I grabbed just like a quarter key of some distillate like a fucking year ago. And dude, like, if I'm out of dabs, I'll fucking dab that all day. It's fine. Like, it's awesome.
Gotten many a person too high on a D8 dab.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. People that think the D8 doesn't do anything, it's like, have you actually sat down and had a dab of some like good distillate? 'Cause
Oh my
it
God.
works.
Oh,
It absolutely works.
It works, and it works as well as you would ever need it to
Right.
if you use enough of it. You know, I've eaten pieces
Of
of
course.
distillate half the size of my thumbnail and been just unbelievably high. Like,
Well, right, because that, I mean, realistically, that little piece on your thumbnail is probably, what, 500 milligrams?
at least, yeah, you know,
Right.
I was trying to overdo it that time. That I'm
Yeah, no, I do it.
but-
I do it too. Like, I literally ate that whole 1,000 milligram bag of D8 gummies, like, wrecked.
Yeah, you gotta R&D, baby, R&D.
That's all it is. A cool thing about the HHC, though, I will say, is the states that are making Delta 8 illegal aren't necessarily making THCP illegal or THCV illegal.
Oh.
They're making THCO illegal because it's an acetate of Delta 8, so it just goes along with Delta 8. But you could use HHC as your base in a cart instead of Delta 8 and then mix it with THCP or B, and that gives you a legality to sell in some of these other states that are making it harder.
Gotta love the loopholes.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah,
I'd
there's
rather be
definitely positives.
vaping some HHC than some thin air. I tell you that.
Exactly. I like my air thick.
Yeah, thick and full of cannabinoids.
Okay.
Actually.
There you have it. Yeah, thick and full of weed.
Yeah. Absolutely. No, how's the new line going though? How's it? I mean, it's
Everything's going great so far. I mean, it's definitely launching very well, and we're happy with
Saw
it.
that you guys are back on the road.
Yeah, well, so that one was an interesting one. This goes back to the whole thing. We can't sell the smokable hemp flower anymore. You can sell biomass, but I know one thing we didn't mention. How, in any possible way, could you say that a pre-rolled joint isn't smokable? Because that's what it is. You can't sell a pre-rolled joint as a stirrer stick.
You can
So-
pack it in like a vaporizer and vape it.
yeah, you know.
It doesn't work. So all the people that were selling the joints can't sell the joints anymore, even though they're selling smokable hemp flower. And I have this big old joint machine, and I'm selling it to one of my friends
Damn.
over in Tulsa, and he just so happens to be the first guy I was ever my like sales partner at the first e-liquid company that I worked at.
Nice.
Shout out Vaporgate. And that was Alex, and he he is part owner at a THC company out in Oklahoma now in Tulsa. So we're gonna go hit shops together and like revitalize us like working together in a way.
Sick.
So
Nice.
yeah,
We didn't do
And that's
too
why-
much of the
that's
road
why we
stuff.
that's why we have this guy. So I got my whole little shop box.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, that's Ian's OCD at its finest.
Hey, sometimes that shit comes in handy though.
Oh, I am not complaining.
Yeah, not out here looking like a fool. We didn't do too much of the road stuff when we were selling D-Liquid, but I do miss those days. We did like a year of it, give or take.
Oh yeah, that's fun, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I feel like that's how all of us like really became friends or met each other or anything, even if it's just like an acquaintance that you hung out with 5 times at some random convention. You probably, clacked glasses with them and smoked some weed with them. Like,
Right. Like-minded people.
Yeah.
the whole
ton of it.
convention family thing definitely means a lot from coming from the vape industry together, for sure. We've made a lot of great friendships.
Yep.
Very true.
We all got fucked the same way and then diversified or are, going to diversify and like just same boat shit,
Yep. I love all the people with ice cream shops now.
We
You know,
consider that so hard.
Yeah, we thought about doing a nitro ice cream shop, and I still like that idea, but
I like the idea too, because people go and get ice cream, and
Yeah.
when it looks all trendy and it's all Instagrammy,
And it's
people-
hilarious that the biggest complaint of the vape industry is that we serve kids. Flip the script
Right.
on it.
right.
let's
Now we're
flip the
handing out
script.
ice cream.
Now we're serving all the fucking kids.
Exactly.
That is a very popular one, low key though. I've seen my buddy Kevin open one up in Vegas here pretty recently.
Did he?
Yep.
Yeah.
I've seen
Oh,
like
decent.
10 or 12
Yeah.
people that open up ice cream shops. And it's usually the roll nitro one.
I was gonna say, do you know anybody that owns a nitro ice cream shop?
I'd have to check and see. I forget who it was specifically that did that one. I'd have to search the old Facebook.
Yeah, I just thought I went to one a while ago in Florida and just thought it was really cool and just a neat way to kind of change the script.
And it does taste a little better, I think, or like is smoother, creamier almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if I had a nitro ice cream shop around, I'm not like a big ice cream guy, but I would definitely go once in a while.
Yeah, we honestly went, like, it was right at the end of the summer. Like, we went to a museum real quick, and, like, on the way to my house, I was like, yeah, let's all get ice cream. We stopped and got ice cream, and it was one of those places, like, they're, like, spraying, like,
Yeah,
nitro in
clouds
it.
of it.
Yeah, it's fucking cool, dude.
It is cool. And it's also fun, like, all the kids are in there, like, whoa, because it's, like, shooting over the counter. So, like, it's fun, it's cute, and
Yeah,
it
it's
tastes
like-
Yeah, it looks like
Bill
you're
Nye
like a
video.
mad scientist with it all fogging
Right.
up and shit.
right. All the employees are usually, like, laughing and shit because it's kind of funny, and it's, like, it's a good setting. So, like, it's a easy thing to open once it's up and running and you have all your, everything in line.
Giant vats
Right.
of nitrogen.
That's
Right.
another thing that I like about
Come
it.
in.
The business that kicks my butt the most though that I didn't tap into is all of our slot shops out here in Illinois. You guys know about all that, right?
Gaming parlors.
Right, because it's not actually like full casino. You're allowed to do different things. Montana's a very, very similar way with that law.
Yeah.
It
People
is.
fucking raked it here.
It is unfucking believable how much money gets spent on gambling.
Yeah, dude, people love gambling. It's crazy. I don't get it.
Even at the mom and pop shops, because it's all public information due to how Illinois gaming board has it set up. So if you could find somebody's corp name, you could find what they did in this month, that month, or the other month, and it's fucking wild, man.
True.
Yeah, the numbers
that
are
is-
unbelievable.
Very true. You can definitely get all that info.
Tyler, I do have to split.
So do I, really. I don't know why Ian said I could sit here and talk forever. I
got shit to do too.
One of the people that was meeting at the warehouse was actually meeting me, but it's Ian's friend, so he was like, oh, it's fine, I'll just go meet him.
Oh, okay. Well,
He didn't
shit.
even talk to him this morning. I talked to him.
Well, you gotta get scooting to the warehouse.
Ugh.
But
But yeah, dude, we'll have to link up again in person, get to the shop. I wanna see y'all's basement. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, dude.
Yeah.
Come through. We'll show you boys a real good time.
We'll be on the road again for sure.
Sounds good, man.
Yeah, if you can sweep
Hopefully
by.
this time when we're really on the road again, we'll be in a bigger truck.
You guys had it pretty pimped out.
That's pretty big.
Yeah, well, that was the F350. So Ian and I are both planning on getting 550 versions of different trucks and doing like full overland vehicle on it instead of just like the rooftop tent and all that stuff. Like going full like kitchen and everything in there.
Sure.
We both plan on doing it on separate trucks.
That sounds
So-
absolutely necessary.
Yeah.
It's 100% unnecessary, and I'm stoked.
Thank you, Tyler.
Yeah, dude,
Thank
seriously.
you guys.
Mako Hemp, you guys make an awesome product. You can find it at our shop or, I guess, not online currently, but any retail shop that carries them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
any retail shop in the Midwest is definitely starting to pick up on it. We're in numerous Midwest distros at this point, and then within the next up and coming months, we will have them posted up online. So,
Are you guys
we're
anywhere
just-
else in Rockford?
Your enemy.
Vape and Juice?
Yeah,
Mortal Enemy?
Excellent.
your mortal enemy. I
Excellent.
mean, no, it's not. It's never like that. I've
We used
never
to
known.
like tussle a little bit more towards the beginning when competition was steeper, but the last
Right.
few years we've been tight. Like we're the only gang
Right,
in town.
I don't even think
It's
about
so
it.
different than it used to be like that. Yeah, because all the shitty shops disappeared. That competition is different. It's just like you guys are the two good shops in town.
Yeah.
That's what it
Established.
is.
And right
Yeah,
now
there's
there's
two good established
a
shops.
measure of respect there, and like, you know, totally get it, and we're playing the same game, and at the end of the day we're trying to help a lot of the same people in the same ways, so
Yep.
no gripes.
Oh yeah, love it. Yeah, I was more saying that like facetiously.
Oh, absolutely. No, it's fucking hilarious. But it's funny because people actually believe that, dude. People will be like, yo, dude, so you guys... I heard
People
somebody...
make
I
up
heard,
their own.
I
They
heard
make
the
up their
littlest
own
guy
shit
there was telling a story about you guys not getting along. Like, okay.
It would honestly
Cool.
be a great marketing stunt for us to have like a public battle, you know?
Right, you should just do a beef.
Yeah. We gotta beef it up.
Honestly, bro.
Do a beef.
That's a good idea.
We'll do a beef, and we'll make your product the center of it, because we'll fight over who can have it.
Yeah.
And then that'll be...
I'm in. Yeah,
We'll
I'm
fuck-
in.
and then
Let's get
it'll
Jeremy
come
on
down
the
to
call
like
right now.
a heated ping pong match on an episode. Or something like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit
No,
Jeremy.
I'm down with the table tennis. I'm with it.
Yeah. This is for distribution rights.
Distribution rights. All right, guys. Well,
Alright, brother. Be good, man. Thank you, Tyler.
Good talking.
to you.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, we'll talk soon.
Sounds good.